Once upon a time, there was a man called Psycho. Psycho had found the comfy Discord server from an R9K thread, presumably made by either the owner, Smug Smith, aka Chris, or the co-owner, Liam, aka Stevo from Jackass. The original server he, and of course everybody else had joined, had been plagued by Australian shitposting, which ultimately killed it. Liam, Chris, and Cassius correctly picked the most reliable people from that server and set them to the new comfy server that still shines bright to this day. One of those people was of course the main protagonist of this story, Psycho. The day was November the 3rd, 2016. Psycho entered the server and immediately questions the existence of this server, and right after he got into a very homosexual verbal fight against 19 Stone because he dared to call Psycho his personal CC slut. Psycho was a very normal user of Fortune as he only browsed the famous board regularly, aka S for S, R and K, and B for fluffy threads. His strong fetish for comical animal abuse also made him browse for 7chance /FL/. As time went by, Psycho revealed to the server a very crucial and dark secret. Psycho was a pedophile that liked to abuse people and use them for his own pleasure. There was even an incident where he brought back home an 11-year-old girl that he pressured into masturbating him, and as a reward, the girl would have her homework solved by Psycho. Psycho never did her homework, of course. On his personal free time, when Psycho didn't browse the internet, he would play Sonic games, which he deemed autistic. He also read comics like Batman and Teen Titans, which becomes very apparent when you converse with him, as he posted pictures of those characters every moment he could. As time went on for Psycho, his love for comics and video games became non-existent because of his ever-growing depression because of his childhood traumas. His iconic use of irony started to show when he said he wanted to save up money to leave his shithole country, Turkey. The irony in this statement is when he said he wanted to have a homosexual relationship with 19 Stone. At the beginning he felt the server was home, since it seemed that it was filled with R9K robots. Of course that would change in the future. When Liam first started to converse with Psycho, Psycho asked him if he would be angry if he searched for any illegal content, to which Liam answered negatively. Right after that, Sid called him out on his blatant play pedophilia, and Psycho revealed yet another secret, that he himself was underage, 16-year-olds in fact. Psycho posted his first picture, which, might I add, was the first out of the many, many pictures he would post in the future. Psycho had no friends and only loved cats. His reason for not having friends was never explained. Psycho always craved attention and got sad when even people from the internet didn't pay attention to him. He then started to talk about his traumas that made him lose the will to live and why he didn't take life seriously. His childhood traumas were that Psycho had lost both of his parents to a car accident at the age of 8, that he had no friends, and lastly because of his favorite and only pet had died. In his opinion, the death of the pet was the most important loss. Psycho never thought he was a pedophile himself, despite having pedophilic urges and consumed illegal pornographic content. His reasoning behind it was that he can't be a pedophile since he's only 16 years old. Psycho's outrageous and immoral claims of liking to torture and use people for his own sick pleasure made the then fresh member Luch to flip out and outright bully and degrade Psycho to a small turd waiting on the side of a curb. Luch's bullying would eventually make Psycho to post his alleged last message that states his past and how he will now kill himself. Then Psycho left the server. The members of the server all thought Psycho was done, but not until exactly a week later, when Psycho would make probably the worst comeback in history. He messaged Sid and asked him if his real name, which was Alper, sounded like the word apple, because people bullied him about it. Even when Psycho joined the server again, the bullying by most members never stopped, which of course led to his final departure. Psycho can only be connected through his Facebook account, in which he posted unintelligible blocks of text that would later get pirated by Sid. Since his last and presumably final departure, Albert has claimed that when his school break is over, he will contact the police and turn himself in, as he doesn't want to be free anymore.